that was my son. Okay. He's having quiet time right now and he's howling. Okay. Is it a headache to do the workaround? Kind of. Is it worth it? Yes. Okay. It absolutely is. Hey guys, it's Courtney. Welcome back to my channel. I am a homeschooling mom to two boys. My oldest is 4.5, almost 5, and then my youngest is 2.5. So I have been homeschooling now, let's see, I did my son's preschool, and then right now we're doing his pre-kinder year. He's not quite to kindergarten, so it's kind of that intermediate phase. We also have done 2 homeschooling sessions, if you will, for summer. So I'm not a seasoned homeschool mom by any means, but we have loved it. And I have learned so much from homeschooling moms on here, and I am so grateful to them. And I would have never tried Sonlight if it wasn't for Science Mama. So Angie, I will list her YouTube down below. And she has done so much. So if you're considering doing Sonlight, definitely go check out her videos. She is very thorough, very wonderful at showing what you get. She does box openings on it. Highly recommend it. Now, when I first looked at Sonlight, I thought there's no way I could do that because it's so expensive, right? And I was like, I don't know if I like the idea of doing a box curriculum because I want to add in so many different things. There were so many other curriculums I wanted to do. And so if you check out any of my videos, particularly one that I just uploaded, which is my pre-kinder like midway update, I kind of explained how I brought things together, what worked and what didn't work. How was I able to bring other like curriculums or other additional additional books and stuff in? How was I able to fit that in with the Sonlight? And while I didn't go into a ton of depth, you can see from that video that I was able to do that. And so just because you get Sonlight doesn't mean like you're backed into a corner, and that would go for any box curriculum. I did My Father's World for my son's preschool, and very loosely. I mean very loosely. And that's a video that if you want to see, then you can comment below and I can film that. But My Father's World is also a box curriculum. We loved it. It is not as literature heavy as Sonlight is, and even with My Father's World, I was able to add in extras. We added in the Gentle and Classical Preschooler program, and I also added in Preschool Math at Home and Moffat Girls letters and preschool math curriculum. So I did the same thing then as well. That's just who Courtney is and how I do homeschooling. So Sonlight is the same way. I did add things in and I made it work. Now, this video is about how do you make it more affordable, because like I said, when I started looking at Angie, I mean, she sold me on Sonlight, okay? And I had heard of Sonlight before, but I didn't realize it was a literature-based curriculum. I did not realize how it worked, and of course the price. So when I started looking at her videos and knowing, you know, we have 2 kids right now, hopefully are gonna have more, I knew like this is a commitment. Like this is an investment, not even a commitment. So what I want to do is I want to explain how did I make it more affordable for myself. Now, I don't want anybody to watch this video going in thinking, oh my gosh, she's going to show us how she saved a ton of money. Did I save money? Yes, I did. Okay. And that was my son. Okay. He's having quiet time right now and he's howling. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, so there's a couple caveats I wanted to tell you. That was the first one. And the second one is they completely changed the package I bought. Since I bought it, it's different now. So it's still gonna work, okay? It still is going to give you an idea of how I saved money, and it's also going to show you how you can save money. And I am gonna put the numbers and you can kind of piece it together, okay? So we are gonna go off of what it is right now, but I also am gonna tell you what I paid. So the Sonlight package right now for pre-kinder is P, so level P. And so you can buy right now is just the HBLP. When I bought it, you could buy HBLP Okay, but then you could also add in language arts. So the way it was written was Sonlight Pre-Kinder with readers, or Sonlight Pre-Kinder with no readers. Okay, so if you chose to add the readers, you were given the option, which it really wasn't an option, right? You needed to have the language art instructor guide, as well as the items that went with the language art. So the HBLP, and I actually have it right now. Let me just pull it out. I don't know why I didn't. So the HBLP right now is, hold on. So the HBLP right now, just level P, is, let's see, right here, is the pre-reading and writing. So you have your Dr. Seuss book, and then you also have your, right now it's a review week, but you would have the letter that you're working on. So when you add readers, you get a whole other set of instructor guides and I mean, like what you're gonna do each day, and it's actually purple. I don't have it with me. And it builds on that. You have a different book that you add in, and you're not necessarily required to do what is on the HBL, this one. You can if you want. So anyway, so it was an option. I added it on because my son had already known his letters and the letter sounds. He wasn't 100% on uppercase versus lowercase. He wasn't very good at writing them out. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get it, but if it's too advanced, we'll stop. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. It was too advanced, okay? I think we got to like week 7 and I was just like, it was just too much. It was awesome, don't get me wrong. Nothing negative about it. We had so much fun. It was like, one time it was like, go to the library, go for story time. A lot of times it was like, have your child explain a story to you about like, oh, if they were like 5 inches tall, like how would they get in bed? How would they get, you know, like it was just so great, so imaginative. And it worked for my son. He loved it. They had a lot of hands-on like writing. There was like circling pictures. So, you know, it was just a good combination of a lot of different methods for learning, but it was too advanced. It got to the point where like he was writing words. I mean, whole words. And while my son understands you can put letters together, it was just too much. And so we have since stopped doing it, and we will pick that back up in the fall. Now, I am actually glad that they took it out, because when I first went onto the website just to get the prices that were currently listed, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's no option for readers, they have moved it to the kindergarten package. So I don't know when Sonlight does their reviews, I don't know how they do their reviews, but I think they made the right option. So right now, if you go on the website, you want to buy pre-kinder, Sonlight pre-kinder package, and your price, this is if you don't get the required resources. So instead of it saying like, oh, do you want readers or not readers? And now it's with the required resources or not with the required. So not with the required resources, this package is $408.54. If you do want the required resources, your packages will be the Sonlight Pre-Kinder with required resources, and it goes up to $486.69. Now, I obviously did not buy one of those packages because I bought this a while back, and so I don't know how exactly their instructor guide is different now. When I looked at the resources that you need for this package though, like you can click, you know, what's all included, none of the books were different from what I had. So I can't imagine that this section, the pre-reading and pre-writing, that like it's changed much. I wouldn't think so. I wanted to clarify that because while yes, I paid more because I bought an option that existed that doesn't exist anymore, you're still going to get some great ideas of how to save money. And regardless, you're gonna see how I did save money. So say you're trying to buy the level T, which would be the preschool package, or you're trying to buy, you know, level K, so the kindergarten. This can be applied to then. I just want to those. I just wanted you to see how I did save money. So these prices sound very close to what they were for the two packages when I purchased mine, okay? So right away, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I spent out of pocket. and I want you to stay because I want to explain the breakdown of that, which I think is really important. So my Sonlight purchase of what I personally paid was $322.75. So regardless if they don't have the readers or no readers and a whole other language arts instructor guide, that is still a heck of a deal. Okay, so $408.54 if you buy the package without the required resources. If you buy it with required resources through Sonlight's $486.69. And again, my purchase with Sonlight was $322.75. I'm going to break this down and I'm going to tell you right here, I'm going to try to list it out and hopefully that will make it clear what I bought and how it added up to that. So, like I said, I did add the readers, and with that I needed to add the Language Art K instructor guide, which was $59. And then I also had the pre-K instructor guide, which was $37. Okay, I also added the alphabet sounds of bingo and the go A to Z, which were each $5, and those went with that language arts kit. So again, you could factor that wouldn't be included for you. I did the American Tall Tales, which was $16.95, and it's a CD. I added the first words in Spanish because I could not find it thrifted, and that was $12.99. I bought the Fun Tales, which were $24, and that was also for the option of with readers. Okay, and then I bought the Developing Learner. I bought 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each of those was $14.49. Those are optional. You do not have to do them. They are on your instructor guide, but you do not have to do them. And that is one of the things we have stopped doing. Okay, I do plan on doing them again. I do recommend them. I do enjoy what it covers. It covers a lot of things I wouldn't normally teach my son. So we do plan on doing them again. It's not wasted money, but just know that it is optional. You do not have to do it. The Geo Shapes were $26. I went ahead and bought the Bible Sing Along CD. It was $9.99. That, I believe, is on YouTube, just so you know. And with that, it is an optional, okay? Now this is the other area that I wanted you to know. I did buy the sheets of book labels, and those were $3. Okay, if you plan on doing Sonlight for a long time and you want to keep all your resources together and you don't want them to get lost, you can buy the labels. I actually have one right here. You can see it actually kind of got ruined, but they do give you plenty, so I do have extras, but it's this red one, if it will focus, and you can see it says P45. So I'm pretty sure every level is like a different color, and it has obviously like what level it is. So preschool would be T, kindergarten I'm assuming is K. So I did buy those. They were $3. I also bought the 3-inch binder, the Sonlight binders that they're known for, and it came with dividers. It holds everything. It is wonderful. Do you need to spend $29? Probably not. Could you find that somewhere else? Probably. Okay. I also bought the Sonlight Homeschool Planner tab dividers, and that was $14, and that is because I bought the Sonlight Homeschool Planner for $28. So that planner is right here. It's right in front of me. If you can see past my chicken scratch. So you can see the colorful dividers on the side, and then this is the planner. So January, if you go to Science Mama, she does a really good flip through of the planner, and I love it. I really do. I will definitely buy it again. I love how they do it, the student schedule and everything. And so that was $28. So I did pay that. And then of course I bought the dividers, but if you have your own dividers, right? Okay, so all of that came to $327.89. Now you're like, wait, that's not what you paid, right? What I told you to begin with. So I had a discount that Sonlight was running at that time, and so I got $10.50 off. And then they added in my tax after they took the discount off, and that was $15.36 for tax. So again, probably depends where you live. And then I used a referral code, and I believe it was Science Mama's referral code, and I got $10 off. Okay. It was only $10, but it was $10, right? And so that brought me down to $322.75, which is what I told you I paid in the beginning. Again, I did get the option with readers. That is no longer an option you can have. Okay, so with that said, if you just see that if you did not buy the binder, the planner tabs, and the book labels, which if you're trying to save money, those are things you could very easily do yourself in a different way. You could take away that price from what I paid, and it would be $248.75 is what I could have paid. Now remember, I said the total packages that I paid were very similar to that $400 range that is on their website right now. It was very close to that, their packages. So you're already talking that your price is down to $248.75. So now, if you go even further, okay, and you get rid of, and I know this doesn't quite compute, but if I were to get rid of the language arts materials that I bought because I was able to add on that option of readers, okay? So I'm talking about the language art instructor guide. There is a book you had to buy for that, and then there was those two like $5 items. It comes out to $93. So taking my price I paid and then getting rid of those extras that maybe you don't necessarily need, and you take away from that total, you take away the $93 for just the language arts stuff, my total would have been brought down to $155.75. That is a heck of a deal, right? So again, you're still getting the instructor guide with Sonlight. You're still getting their products, okay? But, and here's the but, you're obviously missing a whole bunch of their curriculum. So one of the ways that you could make this very, very affordable is the obvious, and that is the library. Now, a lot of these books you're reading over a very extensive period of time, and depending on your library and their renewal policy, you know, this is just something you would really have to look into. We live in a very small town, very small town, and so even some of these books I could find at the library, it would just not be feasible that I could constantly renew them. It was just not an option. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So for me, I did need to buy them, and I needed to have them on hand. And I do think unless you have a library that has a really good policy like that, you're probably gonna be in a similar position where you're just gonna want the books on hand, especially if long term you plan on doing this with more than one child. If you don't plan on doing this with more than one child, then maybe the library route is completely fine. For me, I plan on doing this with more than one kid, and just long term, I would rather have my books all together, the books ready to go, and I don't have to go hunt them down. Yeah, especially with Sonlight being a literature curriculum. So this is what you have to know. I went and thrifted all of my other books that they require, and that's a great thing. Is sometimes you go onto Sonlight's website, and it's very overwhelming where you see the package and the two options, and then it's like, okay, and then you buy it, right? If you go down and you click I can't think of what the term is, but it's like what's included, and you click on each individual item, you can then see what the price is and you can add it individually. And that is how you get around buying a box curriculum, okay? So, and it's not cheating the system, right? Because we're still using their wonderful instructor guide, which they're known for. You're still gonna do the curriculum. You're just gonna source these books. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. These books are already printed. They've been loved by somebody else, and now you can go and thrift them from somebody else. There's no reason to buy new when the book's already out there. Prefer to order through thrift books. I've had such great service with them. I have had, and I've bought a lot of books from them. There's maybe been a couple times where I've gotten a book and I'm like, okay, I should have got the upper quality. And so I'm pretty good that I usually buy, good is very rare that I buy good. I usually buy very good, or like new, I think is what the other option is, or new. So just kind of keep that in mind. I would not buy like acceptable, and I'd be very, very leery sometimes even with good. And I have, so like I said, I like thrift books. I think it works. They have really good policy where you don't really have to spend that much and you get free shipping. And let's see. So I thrifted all the other books. So if you go on their website and you see what's included in the what is included in the level P curriculum, and you see what books are included for the read alouds, the history, the science, the language arts that they have just for their HBL, which is going to be the Dr. Seuss's ABCs, all those books I thrifted. And so the other thing I had to do was their math kit. I chose to get my own beads, and I chose their teen board and their numbers that they had. I think it was just cardboard, and I knew long term I wanted to get something that was a little bit more sturdy, because having a background in Montessori, I know how good these resources are for math. And so I went ahead and ordered from Amazon. This is the wood teen board that I bought. And normally these are really big in Montessori schools, but this one works perfectly. The one you get from Sonlight, I believe it's like really hard cardboard, and I'm sure it's great quality. I'm nothing against it. But I also liked that you could kind of like slide the numbers in. So you get these numbers, whoops, that kind of come in it. And I'll link this down below if you're curious. And then I bought these beads. So you don't get like all these colors with the ones in the Sonlight. So again, it's nothing against the Sonlight package. I just personally chose to go a different route. There was other things in their math kit that I just didn't need. And so again, just kind of know that. Going in with what I'm saying. So with all the books I thrifted, as well as these things from Amazon, that added $135.54. So taking our total of $248.75, minusing the language art curriculum that you no longer has an option of, $93, it brought us to $155.75. You add in all the money I spent on all the books that I thrifted through Thrift Books, and that is going to vary, right? Because of what they're currently priced at and also what condition you get. You could spend less than I did, or you might spend more, it just depends. And then of course the math items I bought at the time were also priced at a certain price, and so I spent a total of $135.54. You add that to the $154 that we talked about, and technically my total is $291.29. So that was ultimately what I ended up paying, and that's really the bottom line of this is you can save money and you can still do Sonlight. Is it a headache to do the workaround? Kind of. Is it worth it? Yes. Okay, it absolutely is. And I love Sonlight curriculum. We plan on doing the level K for kindergarten. I've already kind of looked at it, even though we're only, we're only 13 weeks into our school year right now. We live in an area where we have very long winters, but we also have very wonderful, mild spring and summer and fall. And so we push our term to start all the way pretty much at the end of September. So just kind of know that going in, why we're only at 13 weeks, but we love it and I plan on continuing on. Okay, so I do have a few more numbers to give you. Say you chose that you did want to have the book tabs, the book label, the binder, and the planner. So that was our total of $322.75, which, as I said, was what I paid. But if we subtract the language arts K, so all that totaled to that $93, your total would be $229.75. And then if you add in what I paid for all the books I thrifted through Thrift Books, as well as all of the items I got for the math, you add that to that number, so you add the $135.54, it was a total of $365.29. So again, when you go back and you compare what the two packages are currently, and like I said, I am very confident they were very close to that when I purchased what I did. And so to look at it now and see that I spent a total of $365.29, I did save money. And that money I then used for other things for our homeschooling. And even if you choose not to put it back into your homeschool, that's money you get to pocket, but you're still able to do Sonlight. And to me, that is so exciting. That is so worth it. And I highly recommend trying Sonlight. I highly recommend it if you are If you like to teach through books, and not just books, but wonderful literature, you also have a Christian worldview. And even if you don't, there are ways around the Christian worldview. You don't have to do the Bible area. And I would also recommend that, you try thrifting the books if that's an option. And if not, or you can't find any of them, that's the great thing about Sonlight, is you still can buy the individual books. And so this is not in any way to discourage you from buying the whole package from Sonlight. It is just a way that more people can maybe afford to do Sonlight, because I have seen a lot of comments on certain videos I have watched, and a lot of people said, we would love to do Sonlight, but we just can't afford it. And I understand, $365 is still a lot, but I think when you put it in perspective of if you have more than one child, and that's a big if, right? I am going to be able to use, what did I spend? $135.54 on all the books that I thrifted. Those now are mine. I can read them whenever I want with my children, especially our favorites. But then when it comes time for my current 2.5-year-old to go through this program, those books are waiting, they're on my shelf, and I get to use them again. And with him, I don't have to pay that again. I don't have to pay that money again outright. The other thing a lot of people don't realize, and my math stuff. I mean, right, any supplies you buy for your homeschool, as long as you enjoy it, I get to reuse that. And so that's $135 I know I won't have to pay when my second son is going to go through this program. The other thing is I already have my instructor guides. So typically what we would recommend is, because they do change this, is you want to buy the consumable items. So if you go to Sonlight's website and you go on the pre-kinder package and you see what's included, there is an area where it says you can add, or to add certain consumables back, like the activity sheets, then do that. Go ahead and add that. And I think right now it's like $18 or something crazy. And so for my son to go through this in a second time, for my 2-year-old to go through this, when I teach this a second time, I will only out of pocket have to buy those consumable products. And you should do it now before they change this, because then they won't match, right? And that is how you're going to ultimately save money, right? Is that you're going to cycle your child through this, and hopefully that Sonlight works for them too. And my son likes Sonlight, he likes listening to the stories we're reading. He also loves looking at books. So I think it'll still be a good fit at that point as well. And so I think even though it's a lot of money up front and out of the packet, just think long term, if you have multiple kids, you're going to get more use out of it. And let me just double check my pages of my math. I did want to say that when I did buy this, there was a few items I did not buy, which would deduct from that original package number. I didn't buy their scissors. Of course, their math supply kit I did not buy, but I did end up buying these. And I also did not buy their sensory lowercase letters, because I already had sensory letters. And so I believe it was also their uppercase. I didn't buy their safety knife, their sensory numbers, or their colored pencils. Those were just things that I chose that we already had something similar in hand. I didn't need those. Okay, let me see if I got everything. That's it, and look for the next video, and I can't wait to talk to you guys then. Bye.